I never unmuted myself. I turned down the music, but I never unmuted myself. So you didn't hear any of that stuff that you said, that I said, right? Now you can hear me? I hope, I think. Sounding okay? Okay. All right. Well, I said a whole bunch about the other dogs and these dogs and gave you a Pearl update. But let's get started and do that at a break, since it's now you've got to see the front and the back of Parker, and let's get started. I hope you had a good week. I had a good week. I said I will do the picture that I posted today was from my Friday mudroom cleanup, and as much as you can clean up a mudroom with fluffy creatures. And good morning. Hi, Carrie. Good to see you back also. Oh, wait, that was Casey. Carrie, I don't know if I've met you. Welcome. Good to see you. And so let me put up and Parker's going to be talkative, evidently. Put up our plan for the day. This one. This is what we're doing. So the structure of this weekly reset stream is we'll do 3 20-minute blocks, and I'll have a little more description for each of them. We'll do a look back, look around, look ahead. Towards the end of the last one. See, I knew I recognized the name, but there was a Casey here Tuesday also. Excellent. And I did schedule another one for Tuesday if anybody is available. Do the just whatever you have for an hour on Tuesday, same time. But during the weekly reset, we will do the 3 20-minute blocks, come back and chat a little in between. And I will get us started here. Let's put up a timer. And let's look at this. So looking back, again, if you did one last week, you look back to last week. If you didn't do one last week, oh, hold please. I brought a slug in with the dahlias. I'm sure it was on my shoe. This is a very small slug in the Pacific Northwest, but he's just going to have to live in this paper towel because my dahlias keep dripping all over my desk. So he can live in there for now. All right. All the fun. Looks like we've got a couple more people in here also. We're about to get started. So look back to your previous reset or back as far as you would like if you haven't done a reset in the past. Note down the wins and yeah, Parker was trying to tell me about the slug. He's like, I have a crab, but there's this other thing on the ground. No, any challenges, things that didn't work, what your wins or what your highlights were. I always like to do a check-in, like how are you feeling? Like, because sometimes you write your wins, but that doesn't tell you how you feel about it, right? So how you feel, and then any adjustments for next week, whether that's, you know, the way you did things or things you didn't get done or mindset shifts, any of those things. So we'll get started. I'll go ahead and set that timer and turn up the music and mute my mic, and hopefully I remember to do them all the opposite direction when we come back. All right, this time I did not forget to unmute myself. So we will take a little bit of a break here. Oh my gosh, you guys both have had optometry in your background. And I don't know how much I said about Pearl. That's what my cat's going through with vision issues. She's like cloudy in front of her eye, and you can see like a reddish, pinkish. So yeah, not good. But yeah, he goes to Portland. Matt, my husband, goes to Portland once a month to keep things in check. So that's all good. So yeah, I had a really productive week. I'm really trying to protect a couple days, like kind of theme a couple days, Mondays and Fridays. And this week it worked. This coming week it's not. So I'm part of my what adjustments will you make is I wrote down was I really need to, since Friday I'm going to be out of the house, I need to plan another day to do the things that I found I needed to do on Friday. So yeah, and I got a lot of home stuff done that I'd been putting off. I had dishwasher repaired and the heating system, when they did their pre-winter check, they found some things they needed to do, so they did that this week and all that. And I've decided the dogs are not going to go to the same vet that Pearl went to, so I'm going to be changing some appointments, and I'm feeling good. I was feeling like iffy about it, but I spent some time with friends yesterday, and I think that is the correct decision, so I will act on that tomorrow. So AJ definitely has a lot on the plate right now, so best to you on all of that. What is up for our next? And CJ, trees, did you say, I got to go back and look. You were moving them or removing them? Gotta look. Transplanting. Gotcha. Yeah, transplanting, if they're big trees, that is definitely a bunch of work. Volunteer maples. Well, at least nice trees. That's good. That's good. We have two little, like, very, like, dwarf Japanese maples, but we have 4 really big ones. And anytime that I, like, try to figure out where I could put a shed, or if we were going to do this or that to the house, it's like, I just can't figure out how to not lose a tree, and I don't think my husband would go for losing a tree, so I have no shed, which is why the garage needs to get cleaned out. So let's go ahead and get started on the next section. So we're going to be looking around, checking the calendar, reviewing our tools and routines, looking at your tasks. If you have capture lists or previous lists, or looking over your previous days if you forwarded, I've taken to starting before my review page and starting a brain dump list before, because I always kind of do it in the middle, and I'm like, just, it's going to happen, just start it before. So that's my new plan. And revisit your priorities, which is one of the things I just never seem to have time. I gotta admit, I did a little bit of pre-prep before the stream this morning to kind of make sure everything was up to date, because I usually feel like I'm playing catch up when I get there. Yeah. Yeah, definitely property issues. I definitely hear you on that one as well. Like I said, I had the 2 people out to do things, and the one was both, they get younger and younger, right? The people that come work on things. Like, the one is like, oh, what a nice young man, what a great guy. I'm like, I felt like saying, so you seem really handy, do you want to do a bunch of other stuff? But I didn't. And then the other young one that came, it was like, I'm just gonna let you do your thing, and then you just do your thing and you just be off with you. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and get into our next block. I will reset the timer. And there we go. Maybe I left myself unmuted. My gosh, I'm just a mess today with the microphone. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. Maybe I hit the button twice. So we are on a break. And CJ, cool to hear. I think you look at your tasks and priorities and amazed at how they've changed. I just made myself a note, and you know, I resist structure, as you know, but I love structure, as you know, I think. And so, you know, when I made the stuff for seasonal reset week, it's like I'm torn because, you know, and I'm sure many of us have bought planners because we like the little boxes to fill in, but then when you kind of get in your own groove, you don't like having little boxes to fill in. So I made that seasonal focus map with a couple different options for the seasonal reset week with just kind of, you know, free form boxes. Use them as you like. And I was kind of not happy with myself that I didn't get as much written for my priorities this season as I usually do, or because I don't know. Anyway, but what I just wrote was I am really liking having the boxes to write progress after rather than plan ahead. So rather than like say this is what I'm going to do and write out the whole why and how and, you know, wherefore, and I'm using them as kind of again, recording more than planning. I think I do a lot of the planning in my head, or I don't see the value in having some of it written ahead, but being able to go in and say, oh, I got this done, or because where I had things written down that I thought I'd do, a lot of times I end up crossing them out and changing them to what I'm gonna do. So that was my little aha during looking over my priorities. And some things it's like, ooh, I've already got that done. And then some things it's like, ooh, I better get started on that because dark garage just keeps coming up. Haven't done anything. So I hope in a good way, CJ. And also, rather than making like a whole page for the week layout, like I've done sometimes in the past, these past couple weeks, I've just been like making this just a little 7-column, like morning, noon, night. I don't need a whole page for it. I'm not going to write anything else on it, but just to see everything written out like that at a glance, that I don't probably need to go back to, but it tells me I've thought it through and I haven't missed anything. I'm really bad at doing this, but let's see if I can do this so if it's easier to read that way. Yeah. The whole labeling thing, project, task, routine, you know, I'm working on some stuff. It's like, and somebody gave me a comment, thanks for calling out, the whole goal versus project thing. It's so hard to know, you want to say something, but if you use a label, somebody's going to misinterpret, and you don't want to take a half hour to say what you mean by it. And so, calling them, focus prior, like I'm making something and it's like, should I say goal or should I say project, or should I say goal or project, or should I say goals and projects? Like, okay, I'll just say focus priorities, and then people can interpret it how they want. Need something to remind me the things I might do, like someday maybe. And the thing is, for me, sometimes though, that's where that whole GTD trigger lists end up, sending you down the rabbit hole, because then you feel like you should do everything. So that's where it kind of, my aha was when I was filming the task video, was just put it someplace different. Don't look at it as often. If it lives with everything else, it feels like it's got the same weight as everything else. But if you put it someplace where you can go find it when you need it, or you look at it when you have the capacity, those things don't like haunt you, and they can be something fun to look forward to. And Mike, you watched Ty's live stream scheduling tutorial. Yeah, I had, I use Ecamm, so I use the thing he uses, which you wouldn't use because it's Mac, but I kept missing a step. I'm not getting things the way he says, but I finally watched it. But I've done it without it too, so if you want to hit me up with questions, let me know. And let's try this again. It is easier for me to read this way rather than the so wrapped. I really need the routines when things happen. They can do damage to control. Yeah, I'm working on trying to. I made one of my notes on my brain dump was kind of try to map my energy, because like I said, that whole Monday and Friday being my days off, my personal days, and like, okay, you really need to just focus on personal stuff. And if something comes up, do damage control, move it to someplace else. Yeah. But CJ, yeah, just said, like you feel things after the fact, but I do too. And I found that's more valuable almost, right? Because I want the record of what I did. So I've given myself permission, that's what 3/4 of this is. And that was kind of where I figured out, well, that's that I am doing bullet journaling again, or still, is, the daily log. It's a log of what you did. And that's fair game. Yes. And there's an actual reflect. Yes. But even just, as you go along, or at the end of the day, you have it so when it happened. Yeah. And we'll go one more here. Icebox. Ooh, I like Icebox. Don't look at it if you have stuff to do, but once in a while, yeah. Like, I'm thinking maybe 6 weeks. That was one thing, and I say often that I have the love-hate with OmniFocus. One thing I really do like is, and maybe it's just because it's ingrained in me, so I feel like it's the right thing, is that software has a way to schedule your review of projects in different ones. This you can review every 2 weeks, and this you can review every 2 months, and this you can review every year, etc., etc. And so the problem with OmniFocus is you set that little box, but unless you spend a whole bunch of time setting things up, you still see it unless you hide it. And so you spend more time trying to figure out how to see what you want to see and hide what you want to hide. I think the great idea is it goes in a different place, and then you only pull it out when you need it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I try to limit myself. If I'm writing out things to do, like 5 or 6 is like the max, because otherwise I'll fill the page and then I'll just feel bad, and then I'll just sit on the couch. With that, we should probably forge ahead. Let's see. So we do this. So, like I said, I did my rough sketch during my look around, and now I can kind of figure out where I have the blocks of things. Yeah, 5 to 7 max. I called it out in one of my videos. There was this wonderful visual way of doing it. Somebody did a Hobonichi cousin I scoured YouTube. I tried to find it again. I tried to look back in my Hobonichi Cousins when I was trying to follow it. It was like she put 3 things, but she had a really interesting visual way of doing that, because, you know, everybody can write down 3 things, and then once you finish 1 or 2, you bring in 1 or 2 more and, you know, have the max of 3 or whatever. But it's kind of boring. So her way of doing it was so pretty and visual, and I couldn't find it. I was hoping somebody would see my video and go, oh, I remember, I have that bookmarked, but nope. So it remains a mystery. All right, I am going to reset our timer. I've been trying to move it around the screen because it's hiding where I have it now. It's hiding behind some of my software stuff. If I move it into the bottom corner, it's hiding behind different software stuff. So I tried moving it to the right, and I didn't like that, but I just moved it down a little bit, and that's a little bit easier for me. So we'll go ahead and get started here. Our last 20. What deserves your focus this week? Sketch yourself a plan. Oh! Phew! I almost cut us all off. All right, we have wrapped up another one. Big things happening for people. Moving. Yeah, I asked the question. I'm like, wait, I asked the question, but I don't know what the answers mean. I want to ask more questions, so that's why I put the one today and tried to get maybe some more open answers, free response kind of answers, like, but what did you mean? And you guys were all here early in the dahlia season. I said I was only getting my dark ones, so now I've got all the light ones blooming. So these are all my new ones, all new ones this year. So yeah, and they are dropping petals. Yeah, CJ, trouble prioritizing the big picture things. Yeah, it's, I don't know if it's, is it then how they fit together, like, because you can I can prioritize one, I can prioritize the other, but then how do I make them all happen, like, is another thing. Yeah, I don't know. I always want to find the one. Yeah, Mike, I've been highlighting my different dahlias each live stream, so I've got to come up with something when dahlia season is over. It should get me to the beginning of November, I think. Yeah, CJ, that's it. It's like, I've tried to work with like the Eisenhower matrix, like the urgent versus important, but like, how do you do it when everything's important? Right? I understand urgent, but I feel like there needs to be something better than urgent versus important and every combination thereof. And it kind of goes back to that whole, for me, that whole dogs. Yeah, they're both urgent and important, usually. Goes back to that whole, David Allen probably never had to take care of a household. And I know I'm not saying David Allen Eisenhower matrix. I'm just saying any of the productivity gurus, usually I feel like they were just so much concentrating on work and not, and Michael Hyatt does work-life balance, but I still think it's not always built into the system, right? It's with dogs on display. Yeah, Parker thinks they both think they're lap dogs once in a while, but I don't think they'll fit like right here. But I have a friend who also has dahlias, but she always makes like beautiful bouquets with greenery and different, kinds of plants. And I was like, I gotta prioritize planting things to supplement these, but I'm just not a bouquet maker, because it's like, I don't want to have to I'm gonna overthink it. So, but yeah, I'm thinking that maybe it's I need to figure out how to, still get the mudroom cleaned out and the bills paid and all that, and be able to go forward on the goals and the dreams, and do the I want to go on a hike, and I should be walking the dogs more, and well, is that a want or a need? All those kind of things. So yeah, and if there's kids involved, yeah, that's a whole nother lane there to deal with. And it's how to, and I don't know how old your kids are, Mike, but if they've got those activities that you got to deal with, being here at this time and being here at that time, that's got to be a lot. I have not had kids, but my husband coached for a while, so like I kind of adopted kids and went to all the games, and oh my goodness, it doesn't leave time for a lot else when you're working full time. So, well, those are my musings for today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope this was helpful. If you have any thoughts on prioritizing, or if any of that, thoughts of big picture versus small, or recurring tasks versus one-offs, Send them my way. Love to hear. And I did schedule the Tuesday live stream. I am going to work on compiling my hours for my volunteer project that I vow I will not do that next time with letting it build up. I will do it day to day once it's caught up. And oh, Mike, 6, 10, 11 cheerleading. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. All right, well, thank you so much. And yeah, you're welcome for continuing it, that I didn't hit the finish button when I when I almost did. I don't know why. Oh yes, lovely equinox tomorrow. And then it gets really dark here. So, all right. See you guys on Tuesday or Sunday. Thank you so much for being here. We got a couple people that I haven't said anything recently. Carrie, if you're still here, great to have you here, and hope to see you again. And anybody else lurking there, we'll see you next time.